Let's take a look at training ethics. The law interacts with the provision of training and development in many different ways. Sometimes it's explicitly mentioned in legislation. Similar to other areas of human resource management practice, employers need to be concerned about the potential discriminatory effects when selecting who will participate in a specific training or development activity. Even if it's not explicitly mentioned in a piece of legislation, the legal environment impacts the decision of whether an organization should provide employee training. In most cases, the legal environment encourages organizations to provide their employees with training. The primary way the law promotes training is by lowering an organization's potential liability for actions taken by its employees. Jurisdiction refers to whether or not a specific law applies to your organization. Jurisdiction impacts discrimination in organizations depending on their geography and size. Depending on how many people your organization employs or where it's located, a particular law may or may not apply to you. In terms of organizational size, most anti-discrimination laws provide for a threshold number of employees. If your organization's workforce is under that threshold level, the law does not apply to you. Well, it's interesting to note the employee threshold for these laws, most organizations that employ HR professionals in some way meet the minimum. Legally, if a law does not apply to your organization, then by definition, you cannot violate it and you cannot be successfully sued for that type of discrimination. Even if you're safe from lawsuits, on an ethical level, there is a recognition that it's not appropriate to discriminate against another person because he or she belongs to a certain group. But if you can't be sued, how are such ethical standards enforced? If organizations or individuals violate such norms, they might find themselves ostracized. Consumer boycotts are one of the most visible responses to organizations that have a reputation for discriminatory behavior. Many organizations and products have been boycotted to varying degrees of success. In addition to consumer boycotts, which are visible, public, and can directly impact an organization's profitability, other individual and potentially less visible responses to discriminatory behavior can hurt organizational effectiveness. Discriminatory behavior can undermine the cohesiveness and effectiveness of work groups. Individuals who are the target of, or even a bystander to, discriminatory behavior will become demotivated and disengaged. Of course, this can lead to higher turnover, and if an organization develops a reputation for discriminatory behavior, then it will also result in a smaller applicant pool. Smaller applicant pools generally make it harder for organizations to find the qualified individuals that they need and can result in higher recruitment and selection costs.